A little late today, but that's okay. Apologize for not making it yesterday, but that's all right. We can get everything caught up today. Don't have much time, but we can talk about this week 6 report card, if you will, from the NFL. I go out and do this thing with Fango Media, and I get to talk to fans when they come out of the stadium. And after losing Monday night in Jacksonville, fans came out all excited about the team, about how it looks like they might just be one of the best teams in the AFC. But the curious thing about what some of the fans said was that Kansas City is dead. They lost to Jacksonville. They lost a couple other games. They were sitting at 500. It looked like the Chiefs, well, below 500 after that game, looked like the Chiefs might be in trouble. Well, lo and behold, they come back and they win again on Sunday against Detroit. And now they're 500. Guy from Seattle tells me that we're not even worried about Kansas City because Kansas City had their run. It's time for them to go. And because of the way they're playing, there's nothing to worry about. But I wonder, because you don't have anybody in the AFC that seems to want to snatch it and say, we're the best team in the AFC. Well, of course, a lot of the announcers and broadcasters, they want to give that title to the Bills. But it looks like the Bills don't want to take it. I watched the Bills the last 2 weeks get beat by two teams that they should have beat. New England is up and coming with Drake Mays getting better. They got caught up in that. A lot of teams tend to pick it up when they're on national TV. So I can understand that. And why they would get a better performance from New England than they would normally get. But I still think Buffalo is a better team than New England, so I don't see them jumping them already. But then you lose to the Falcons. You can't get anything going on offense. Your defense looks like shredded cheese out there. And you need to get off the field. You couldn't do it. Even when it became painfully obvious that the Falcons, they don't have any go-to players other than Bijan Robinson. They were going to throw the ball to him. They were going to give to him, and you still couldn't stop him. That is a problem for Buffalo. And I understand that the Falcons, they're just like New England of sorts. They'll show up in a nationally televised game, then they'll turn around the next game and won't show up. Case in point, the Falcons beat, the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. Everybody in Atlanta is jubilant. We got us a good football team. And they turn right around and get blown out by Carolina. So who is the real Falcons team? Who are the real Patriots? Yeah, they beat the Saints the other day, but can you brag about beating the Saints? I don't think so. So the question is, who are the best teams in the AFC? How you doing, JC? You say KC is tops right now? Well, KC is 3-3? But I'm not counting out Buffalo. No, they're not going anywhere. But I told you guys, kind of tongue-in-cheek, I said to you that if Aaron Rodgers is left upright and they're able to run the football and play action pass, Pittsburgh was going to be hard to beat. Yeah, I know they just got by Cleveland. Yeah, I know they beat the Jets earlier. They hadn't played any top-tier teams of sorts, if you will. When they did play a top team, Seattle, they lost. Pittsburgh is sitting there, 5-1? They're not blowing games that they normally would blow. The defense is creating a lot of turnovers. And what's most important about that is the weather's not bad. If they're creating turnovers now, when the weather starts to turn cold, they're going to get even more turnovers in those situations. So Pittsburgh defense is legitimate. The question is, can they keep running the football and keep Rodgers upright? Now, one thing that I've seen from Pittsburgh, and I'm not overly impressed, who is their top receiver? I'm not seeing anything that's exciting me in the receiving room outside of, DK Metcalf? Outside of him, I don't see anything threatening in the wide receiver area. Now, you're going to need those tight ends down the middle, and you can throw it to the back and the flat, but they still need somebody on the other side that can take the pressure off Metcalf. And what I saw so far to this point, that might be the Steelers' Achilles heel. So before the trade deadline comes up, they might want to come up with another receiver to complement Metcalf. But I'm not excited about what they have, what I've seen out of that side so far. But that's just me. We'll see how it plays out. KC gets their star receiver back from suspension this week. Yeah, they do. But here's the deal. It's just like basketball. You can have 1,000 stars on offense, but then you only got one ball. You got to spread that thing around. Now, what it does is open up Kansas City to start doing more of that gadget stuff that they do. And if you got a receiver that can take the top off the defense, like what they had with Tyreek Hill, Kansas City is going to score some points. But in this league nowadays, you're also going to give up some points. So they need to get to the point where they're creating a lot of turnovers. And right now, I don't see Kansas City doing that. All those close games that they won last year, they can't depend on that because now it's starting to go the other way. And turnabout is fair play, if you ask me. And I think when you win a whole bunch of close games, it's going to eventually turn around on you and you're going to start to lose a bunch of close games. So I think Kansas City is going to be there in the end, but I think that their window is closed for now. They're going to be hard to beat, hard to stop when they have the ball, but you can score on them. And Buffalo, they'll be back. But I just don't think that the teams everybody's talking about now are going to be the teams that's going to be there. In point, I'm trying to tell you that in the end, the AFC just might go through Three River Stadium or Heinz Field or Acrisure or whatever the hell you want to call it. It goes through Allegheny County in Pennsylvania. Write that down before Week 7 games start today. All right, Thomas French, what do you think about the Niners and all the injuries they have on their team? Well, it's feast or famine in football. If you notice, San Francisco's been probably one of the best teams in the NFC the last several years. And the only thing that's derailed them are injuries. Now, Philadelphia, they've fallen off the cliff a little bit. They've come back to the pack. And this new offensive coordinator they have, he's not getting the job done right now. He's not spreading the ball around like they should. And it all starts with Barkley. You got to give Barkley the ball. Let the man get into a rhythm, running the football, play action, hit him in the flat, whatever you need to do. Just like Baltimore. They got Henry there, but they won't give him the damn ball. So if you notice, a team like Baltimore, when Jackson is out there and he's running, and then you can run Henry up the middle, and you're trying to guess who's going to get the ball, you're going to get beat. It's systematic with these teams. You have to take away that run first up the middle with Henry. In Baltimore, it's kind of like telegraphic. Okay, we can't get Henry now, so let's take Jackson, fake it to Henry, and run around the outside. That don't work. It's telegraphic. Detroit shows you that when they played that Monday night game. Then when you can't get the run up the middle, Jackson can't run to the outside. Now it becomes very interesting because can he beat you in the pocket? He's gotten better at throwing the football, but he's still not good enough to beat you throwing from the pocket. And Detroit, once they took that outside run away from him and had him bottled up in the pocket, they started beating on him. And that lets you know that these defensive coordinators, they don't sleep. They're like cops, homicide detectives looking for a suspect. They don't give up until they get some information on you and they catch you. These defense coordinators, they're looking all the time at that tape, trying to find a way to get you. But I've been telling you this for a couple of years now. This is how you beat Baltimore. Keep that guy in the pocket, make him throw, and then just hold on to your hat if you're a Ravens fan, because I don't think he can do it. He didn't show me he can do it yet. But this is not a bash Baltimore. It's the same thing across the league. You have to be able to stop the main thing another team does. But I still think that Frisco, if they can get healthy, they'll be back in the conversation about who's going to come out of the NFC. But I just think it's time for Detroit to finally jump out of the pack and make it to that top level. But it's not going to be easy because you see Tampa Bay is cardiac. They're going to be hard to beat. You're going to actually take the ball away from them and snuff the clock out. But if they got any flicker of hope and they're only down by a couple of points, they're going to come back and steal that game. That's the character of that team. And I don't see nobody stopping them from doing that other than blowing them out or getting to a big lead or having the ball to snuff the clock out at the end. That's how you're going to beat the Bucs. Seattle's going to be a tough out. And like I say, Philadelphia, they'll bounce back. But it looks like to me, Detroit, it might be their year. Right now, people are talking about Chicago. They won like three in a row. Chicago's not ready yet, man. With so many teams in the playoffs now, some of these teams are just sacrificial lambs. You're going to make it to the playoffs and say, hey, we had a great year. Then you got to go to the playoffs and play against a really good team, and then you get blown out. Now you got to go back and evaluate, were we really that good? No. You just got playoff spots because the league keeps expanding because the league wants to make more and more money. That's what it's all about. And you can look at it from the college perspective, it's the same thing. All these playoffs and all these different things, yeah, it's exciting if your team gets in, but the bottom line is to make money. High school, the same way. When I was a kid, one team from a district made the playoffs, and you go play against the other district champions, and we'll see who wins. But now you got also rans and at-large seedings. All this is to get more playoff games to generate more money for the association. It's all about money. Think about that. All right, Pittsburgh Tomlin says he doesn't understand why Cleveland traded Flacco to Cincinnati. He says that's your rival. You don't help out a rival. Man, let me tell you something about that. Back in the day, that was absolutely true. You don't help out a rival. But look at college. With this NIL portal, I'm down here in Gator territory. I'm surrounded by Bulldogs and Seminoles. But I have seen Florida Gator players transfer to University of Georgia. I've seen them go from Florida to Florida State. And they just change the team like underwear. The players don't give a damn about loyalty. It's the people who've been following these teams that are loyal. But the combatants themselves, they could care less. They traded Flacco to Cincinnati because they needed a quarterback because Browning can't do it, number one. Two, he's not a real threat because he's so old. We know how to beat a Flacco. And Cleveland also got rid of him because I've been telling you guys that in the end, before the season is over with, they're going to activate Deshaun Watson, and he's going to start some games for the Cleveland Browns this year. Mark my word, I've been telling you this for 2 months now. And what's been happening? They got rid of Kenny Pickett. Now Flacco's gone. Now you got two rookie quarterbacks. I told you Gabriel was going to get his shot. He was going to do well and then start stumbling once they got some tape on him. Then they're going to put Sanders out there. He's going to come out there and have a great game. And then the second game, he's going to stumble. And then now you got two rookie quarterbacks struggling. Who's left? You got a big contract with this guy. He's now healthy. He's a veteran. Why not stick him out there? Why pay him $35 million just to sit on the bench? Get out there and see what you can do. And then you're going to find that this guy's arm is still alive. He's going to be fresh for all the time he's missed. His Achilles are repaired. And you're going to find out that this guy still can play football. So the fans, they don't like him in Cleveland because all the hype that he had and it just seemed to not go well. So let's get rid of it. Well, he's going to come back. He's going to play well. And I tell you what, he's probably going to be the starting quarterback week 1 for Cleveland next year. Watch. I'm trying to tell you, losing Fred Warner hurt more than losing Bosa. Yeah, but this is not smash mouth football like it used to be. You get some guys that's going to slam it up in there, but I think you need to rush in like Bosa, more so than top-notch linebacker right now. You can isolate him and double team him, but it's kind of hard to double team a rush in because if you double team him, that means you're going to need your back to pick up one of those blitzing linebackers, and I'm going to take the linebacker in that case most of the time. Only way to combat that is send that back out in the flat, make that linebacker cover him. Now the advantage flips back to the running back because 99.99998% of linebackers can't keep up with running backs. It's just a losing battle. But I think Frisco, in the end, once they get healthy, they're going to be fine. It's like Detroit. They lost all those people. Now they're starting to get them back. They're going to become much more dangerous as time goes on. Avoya Brown, how you doing? I ain't seen you in about 2 weeks. I'm just coming on rapping about what we've seen so far. But the Falcons, I mentioned them I think the Falcons are a prime time team. Um, that's not a nod to Dion, but I guess it could be. They only show up when the lights are bright. They showed up Monday Night Football. Everybody's all excited about them, just like they did when they played on Sunday Night Football. But then when they come out the next game, they're going to lay an egg. And you'll find that the Falcons, they probably won't make the playoffs, but they do have a pretty good defense. And I think the offense is telegraphic. Everything's running through Bijan. And when he can't find Bijan, he's looking for London. So those are the two guys you need to stop if you are playing against the Falcons. And Penix, he's fine if he can get his read out real quick. But you put a little pressure on him. You saw some of them passes he was making look like some high school kid playing against a college team. When you see the rush, oh, let me hurry up and get rid of it. I saw a couple of plays like that the other night, and it's kind of sickening to watch. Some of the reactions and some of the way that these guys cringe up when a little pressure gets on them. So, like I said, these defensive coordinators, they pick up on things. If I'm sitting here watching it on TV and I'm picking it up, you know when they start looking at film like they do 100 hours every week getting ready to play, they're going to find weaknesses. And if I can see it with the naked eye without running it back 1,000 times like they do, they're going to figure out a way to put pressure on the Falcons. They're going to figure out a way to get Bijan Robinson on the ground. And I think before it's over with, until they get more diverse offensively in Atlanta, they're not going very far this year. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, it looks like to me the best team in NFC is Detroit. And in the AFC, yeah, everybody's talking about Buffalo. They'll be back. Kansas City, they think they're dead. They're not dead. But are they the best team? I don't think so. I'm telling you, the best team in the AFC right now is the team nobody's talking about but me. That's that black and gold. And in the end, if you want to make it to the Super Bowl this year, it's going to have to go through Allegheny County. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Break, what's going on, man? You always come on when I'm about to get off, man. All right, the owner's not going to lose that insurance money. Maybe after they get the money, he will come back. Yeah, I understand about that insurance issue out there in Cleveland, but at the same time, you don't want to lose his fan base either. And they want to see the team win. They don't give a damn about his insurance money. They want to see a good product on the field that wins after they spend all that money to come to the game. That's what it matters most to the fans. The team itself, yeah, they want to make some money. Because of that, they got to make some hard decisions. All right, when you look around the league, it's any given Sunday for any team, there are sure no victory watch. They are no sure victories. Watch how the end of the season. No, there's no sure victories for anybody. But at the same time, you get to know who the best teams are. And, yeah, you can rise up and be the top team once, maybe twice. But in the end, your deficiencies are going to show. That's why the playoffs coaching comes into play, because they already know how to play against a team in the playoffs because they've been studying. They got a book on each coordinator. They got a book on these players. Just like I was telling you about Baltimore, how they played Kansas City attacked Baltimore. Case in point, the way that Buffalo and Kansas City go at it. Last year, Buffalo had Kansas City, but what they didn't know was Spagnuolo was saving that special blitz that Josh Allen hadn't seen. He sent that corner off from the short edge on that fourth down play. Allen had no idea that shit was coming. And the thing about it, even if you knew it was coming, and if it was first down, he would have just had to get rid of the ball. That was a hell of a call, but he hadn't shown it. And that's knowing who you're playing against and how to come up with a plan to attack them comes into play. You hit them with something that they're not expecting at the right time. I go back when Pittsburgh played Jacksonville in the playoffs about 10, 12 years ago when they had Del Rio was the coach. They played early in the year, and Jacksonville screened and drew Pittsburgh all night long. So I'm thinking Pittsburgh, they got to get ready for that because that's coming. Well, all during the game, they didn't do none of that. But when they needed to convert, what do? They went back to the same thing and they destroyed Pittsburgh with the first time. They hit them with a draw, and it killed them. You got to know who you're playing, and you got to know how to beat these teams. You got to be able to pull it out at the right time. That's why the NFL coaches are the best. Colleges, They are good, but they depend on talent. High school is really dependent on talent because you can have one player, and even in football, one player can take over a football game. I've seen it happen myself several times. It's kind of hard to believe when you got 22 on the field, but if you got one player that you just can't stop, you just can't stop them, man. It's just the way it goes. All right. I really believe they've proven Shadur. I think they're going to get rid of Shadur. They don't really want him there. And what he's trying to position themselves to get a top draft choice, they're going to get rid of him. He probably going to end up in New Orleans somewhere. The way it looks, they want to get the top pick. But I really don't think Cleveland know what the hell they want to do. But if Shadur gets out there when he gets his opportunity, which I think is either going to get out there this week, he's going to either come in relief this week, or is he going to start the week after? But within the next 2 games, you're going to see him. He's going to get his opportunity. So he should have been preparing for it because we all knew it was coming. And he's going to play and determine his future from that point forward. If he goes out there and plays head and shoulder over Gabriel and the team rallies behind him, then the ownership has no choice but to get this guy out there and play him. But I think in the end, the owner said they didn't want him. The coaches, they're showing you they didn't want him. So he's just like the guys in the preseason. There's no spot for him in Cleveland, but he can go play somewhere else. And how he plays when he gets on the field determines his future in the NFL. So I'm also hearing his brother got picked back up by the Bucs on the practice squad. I got to look more into that. But, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But anyway, the horn's going off, so I got to go sign in, man. Been off for a couple of days, so I ain't seen these kids in about a week. So it's time to get back to work. But I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. Rhonda Davis says hello. Hello. Break. I catch you guys on the other side, man. I'll be back on tomorrow unless there's some breaking news. I'll come back on later today. But just a quick check on this poll. Ask, are the Chiefs still the best team in the AFC? A lot of people are saying yes. But, you got to realize most people think low-hanging fruit. Chiefs, the obvious pick. They've been in the Super Bowl. Let's pick them again because they'll probably be there again. I don't think so. The road to this next Super Bowl goes to Allegheny County if you want to come out the AFC. If you don't know where Allegheny County is, it's in the Commonwealth state in the Northeast called Pennsylvania. And it's on the western end. There's only one team in western Pennsylvania playing NFL, one on the east. They won it last year, but we ain't worry about them no more. I think they're in trouble. But I think Pittsburgh is better than what you think they are. And as the weather starts to turn, the style of play is going to make them stand out that much more. So keep your eyes on that. In the meantime, have a great day. This has been Sports for Real. I got to get up out of here, man.